Hello everyone, welcome to my first time lapse in Planet Coaster, where today we are making a mine coaster. How would you say it? Swinging mine coaster. I got the DLC just today actually, and I really got to work on it. You're watching about an hour and a half of footage, and I really had I wanted to take inspiration from the Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland, because I thought that was a really cool ride, and I've ridden that plenty of times. And when I first rode it, it was just one of those simple vintage car rides that didn't go very quick or anything. But then I came back a couple years later, actually I think 3 or 4 years later. They completely redid it, or not completely redid it, but they made it so that the brakes were cut or whatever. Part of the story was that, so you couldn't slow down, you just sped up more and more. So I think the maximum speed for that was 20 miles an hour. So I was taking inspiration for that in this ride. I was kind of making it like the archaeologist was like Indiana Jones, and you're trying to find the treasure room. So in this episode we cover a little bit of the traps and a little bit of the treasure room as well, which has some lava and gemstones in it, which we'll get to in a little bit. I'm gonna make this a series. I'll make a playlist for this as well. As soon as this is uploaded, I'll put this into a playlist. Yeah, pretty cool, honestly. Tell me how you like the background music as well. I found somebody who makes non-copyright music, which is pretty rare to find considering everybody copyrights their own music. So yeah, that was pretty nice to do. Right now I'm just landscaping and making it so that it's pretty dark, and make it kind of like a cavern. You're starting out in a bit of a cavern, you go down. So what I'm thinking for the queue path for this is you go down through this cave system, and then you go out and you're in this you go out, you're in this temple kind of a thing, and it's gonna be really cool, hopefully. Right here is the first trap I lay down, and I couldn't really think whether I wanted the ball, whatever that is called, the boulder, or the smashers, and I decided that I would go with smashers. And here you see I'm placing down the first trigger, and I try to wait for it, and you can watch that go through. And they weren't perfectly lined up, but that was fine by me. They don't need to be perfectly lined up. There's a lot of trigger points in this. I'm going to be making sure that it's a big project. Considering I've already been working on it for about an hour, it's already a pretty big project. It's not the largest project I've done yet, but it is definitely not the smallest. I think the smallest one I've done probably took me about a half hour, not including the Rise with No Scenery. And that was one called Overbank in the Planet Versal Park I told you guys about, and the other Planet Coaster sort of thing. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We're going to be going through a lot of music in this because they're only about 3 minutes long. It's going to be hard to figure out 11 minutes of voiceover quality, but I do it most of the time for each of the videos, and I do it for a lot longer than 11 minutes. How are your guys' day going? You probably aren't going to comment it below, but try to comment this below if you guys are watching this. So here we're working on the treasure room, and we put down some lava, and some of the, I forgot what it's called, flumes, lava flumes. Kind of looks like a lava lake. And we put down the gemstones as well. I definitely want to do a lot more in this treasure room, but I just wanted to start it out so that way I can remember that it is a treasure room for later on. I also was thinking that that would be a cave originally, but then I decided that I would make that a temple, and that is right after I placed the torches. So here I am laying down the walls. You can't see my mouse, but it was pretty annoying having to constantly undo and then redo on that first line. Then it was pretty easy. It was just clicking and it hurt my fingers a little bit. So looking forward to building a bit more of that temple. I will be writing this ride every video that we make of it, so that will be something to look forward to at the end. So that way we can see how far we've gotten in each of the episodes. So this right here, this alone took me about 5 or 6 minutes. Just placing down walls, which was pretty boring. I'm not going to lie. And then I decided to start working on some traps, I believe. Yeah, here's where I work on one of the trap segments that we're going to have, which is a little bit after you enter the temple. So there's going to be plenty of traps, so that way it looks like there's all like this. They're really trying to protect something. And later on, I make some doors and spikes. Plenty of traps that this place is going to have. So here I'm trying to look at the lineup, and I realize that the trigger is too far forward. So here I'm placing down a door, and what I originally wanted it to do is like it just to have it open, but then I figured actually it would be a lot cooler if it was to be falling down, just make it through. So that was an awful hard point to trigger, and I still didn't get it all the way down. So here I'm placing down the trigger for that, so that way it didn't just clip through the wall. And then I realized, wait a minute, that looked really cool because it was going down when the car went through it, and I thought to myself, wow, that actually looks really good. So here I'm putting down the triggers for I really don't know what I was doing. It's hard to, because I don't have a script for this. So then it took too long because it kind of clipped through, and so I had to move it up a little bit. And here I'm putting down some more traps because, yeah, I couldn't focus on that one thing. I had to do more because, I didn't want to look at it bare thing for that one wall. It was amazing. So I didn't have as much time as I want to have had. Most people typically spend like 2 or 3 hours at a time. Obviously not me. I didn't spend 2 or 3 hours at a time. So yeah. I decided not to put those on a trigger because then they would have only gone once. And to make that cross section where the track goes into the proper roller coaster is I placed down another of that ride, and I made the track line up with the functioning ride, and then I deleted the station, so that way it was just some track. It's a nice little hack that you can do in Planet Coaster. I think it looks really awesome because it makes it look like there's another area to the track that you cannot see. So it adds a lot to it. And here I'm trying to find some inspiration because I was running out of ideas already for this thing. And you know what? The builds that they gave you are actually pretty cool. And here I try to use that. And I wanted to have like the eyes light up as you went through, so that way you knew that it was like a curse or something. But I think I'm going to be doing that eventually later on. So there's also these little board pieces that are structural hold-ups basically, and they basically snap. So I added some triggers to those, and you go through and you watch them snap. So it looks like they're kind of going to break and everything is going to crumble down. So I'm also going to add some dust once I add the ceiling to that. These are also the poison darts. I wanted to have those go right over your head. Kind of like in the Indiana Jones ride, they have these little air things that shoot right at you and you feel the air blow into your face. For these, you're going to feel the air above you because they're actual arrows. So yeah, that sounds safe. And here I'm placing down some wall torches so that way it kind of lights up the area. And we're nearing the end as well, because I had to do something. And I'm just placing down some in the ending cave that we made earlier in the video. And yeah, that is almost it. Okay.